see my cat right now. It's morning, I'm just waking up, but this was the best time to catch him because he happens to be laying on top of me. And because this video I'm going to be starting the day off with has to do with my cat and his ear. So his ear, the one that's like bent over, like your ear. He's got one ear that's normal and one that's bent over. So that's what I'm going to be touching base on with really soon. Stay tuned. Hi, so from that last video clip I took that this is an addition to was from like maybe a couple hours ago on his first waking up. And my cat was cuddling with me, so it was the perfect moment to really think about doing this one. And I'm still honestly not awake very well. Not a morning person, and I was trying to wake up and get some tea, and my mom would not stop talking my ear off, and oh my god. But my cat actually came back to join me and is purring up a storm. I don't know if you could hear him or not, but he is so cute. Anyway, this video is actually kind of about him. Not just him in particular, but like about his ear, like I described in that first video. So I thought this was good to educate some people because cats and dogs can have this problem, and I'm sure other animals too. I don't know much about that other than I know cats and dogs can have it. So a lot of people have asked me, what is up with his ear? You know, because it's like one's bent and the other one isn't. I've had people ask me like one of my old neighbors, she asked me if he was mixed with something else, like I think Scottish folds. They have like little bent ears and stuff. It's really cute. And I was like, no, he is mixed. He's part Maine Coon and I don't know what else, but he's a big cat. He's not quite as big as other Maine Coons, and I'm kind of glad for that because I feel like he's big enough. And as it is, we struggle with getting a cat box that he can fit into. The other cats are like normal size compared to him, so they have no problem. Him, still in a complication, but can't do much about that. He's a good guy though. So sweetie. But anyway, the problem with his ear is he had a hematoma when he was 1 year old, which is it's like a bubble you get in your ear. Which creates it feels like a fluid and pus and blood and all that gross shit. So those show signs of it like they will with any other irritation with your ears, like ear infections and whatever. You know, the common head shaking and scratching and, you know, all the show signs of discomfort. And, you know, we did what we usually do to take care of their ears. You do different, like, which I do mostly the home remedies we've learned online, like you put olive oil and coconut oil and stuff in your ear to clean your ear with like either a cotton swab or I forgot what it is that we usually use. It's like a cotton pad or whatever. I'm not sure if that's the correct name for it. Whatever. I'm like not really awake right now, so I'm screwing up all my words. But that's the stuff we usually use to clean your ears, and what we were doing wasn't working enough for that one ear, and you know, it wasn't making the bubble go down. And I was like, I don't know if he's got an ear infection, what it is. So I called this vet. He was like an old timey vet that like owned a farm and stuff over in North Andover. But that was a while back because my cat he's gonna be 8 this summer, so he's probably not even like doing anything anymore because even back then he was kind of old, so he's probably long since retired. But I liked going to him because, you know, he was a straight shooter. He was honest, but he wasn't like greedy either. He actually cared about helping the animals. And you know, I brought him there and he looked at his ear and he told me what he had was a hematoma, which they could do like a couple things for it. there was the procedure the doctor did while I was there, and then he said the other thing is surgery. They can. The problem is with um either one of those things. He said, especially with cats, because they got smaller ears than dogs. There's no guarantee that even with the surgery, that his ear would have went back to normal. And he said to me, "Do you care?" And I was like, "No, not really." And he's like, "He's not gonna be a show cat, is he?" I'm like, "No, I don't care about that crap." So not only that, I couldn't afford like the high expense of surgery. So what he did was, he sedated the cat, so the cat's not like freaking out and crap. And he had a slice into the bubble in his ear, and like the stuff just shot out basically across the room. Oh god, it was so damn gross. I almost passed out when I saw it, so thank god I was there with my mom. So she had a stronger stomach than I did to take care of it, and she was kind of hoping the vet like keep the cat still as best as she could. And she's like, "Oh, a lot of help you are. This is your cat, and you almost passed it out on the floor." I'm like, "That's disgusting. I'm sorry." And not only that, this is my baby. Seeing him go through something like that was just, it was like, oh my god, no. So, he cut it and he drained all the crap out of his ear, and, he had to stitch it up, and he was telling me what I had to do to take care of it while it was healing. I forgot what it was, but, he gave me some stuff to put in his ear to help keep, like clean from getting like reinfected and all that, because my cat too, with being part Maine Coon, he's got bigger ears, and I don't know, I think he might make him a little bit more prone to getting like ear infections and stuff, because like I said, they're ears and whatever. I'm sure it's like that with certain dog breeds, probably like German shepherds. The big ears are standing up. So yeah, dogs can get them too. Um, I'm sure probably is a lot the same way to take care of it with the dog, the same way as a cat. Just make sure you keep up with cleaning their ears and stuff, because especially on animals that are prone to getting like ear infections and stuff, because each animal is different and each breed is different. Like certain cats will be more prone to like hip dysplasia and all that stuff. So it's important to educate yourself on the breed of animal you get for cat, dog, anything, and what are they prone to with their health and things like that. And I should probably further educate myself on that with my cat. I think he's one of those who worry about the hip dysplasia and stuff, because he's a bigger breed cat, and they can grow pretty fast too. Maine Coons or any of those other cat breeds that tend to be on the big side. Because it's like when I got him, he looked a lot like one of our other cats did when he was a kitten. So I was like, oh, he's like a black and white version of our cat Rocky. And yeah, that didn't end up being the case. Less than a year, he was pretty big, and I was like, damn, what are you? My cat, in general, he's about like 2 feet 8 inches long and might be like 122 pounds. When you hear something like that about the weight for, cat, you're like, oh my god, he's big, and yeah, he looks like he probably could use a little bit of weight. 'Cause he really likes to eat. But he's also, bigger too, and that's what you have to account for. And I don't know, I think it'd be easier too once he's the only cat. I want to move out. I can adjust his diet more accordingly to his breed. But we got like altogether 4 cats, so it's kind of hard to keep up with that. So you gotta put the food down, and it's like, oh yeah, just put the food down at certain moments. And it's like, you can't, because you got 4 cats to account for that eat. So, at certain times they're just gonna go over and eat whenever. And yeah. This big guy, man. I mean, he's stuck it out though. He's been around longer than that cat I had before. It's unfortunate. My Murphy, I put him down. Before he was 2, because he started having these health problems, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was neurological. I don't know if he had cancer or what. But I didn't really know much about CBD back then, because you gotta figure this is like 8 years ago or more. And he was having like uncontrollable seizures and stuff, and it was terrible. And it just got bad so quick. And again, I don't know if he had a tumor or he had epilepsy or what it was that was causing it. But there's days I think about him and I'm like, what could have done differently? Because if it was just like neurological, maybe I could have helped him cope with it with CBD and stuff. But again, I didn't know anything about that back then, and I couldn't afford to take him for these other things, and I still have so much regret over that, but I can't do anything about that now. So, with all this time that's passed and the more I've learned about different things, I'm able to take a different approach with Riley and not make a lot of those same mistakes. So if he start having issues like, Murphy did, then I would not approach it differently. And I thought about checking into getting pet insurance because, you know, going to the vets can be really expensive. Even with I had to take Riley back before to have his ears looked at again, and I went to just a regular vet this time because, like I said, the other guy was like really old, and it turned out he had like double ear infection, and between the regular, just vet visit with the rabies shots and all that, and that getting his ears cleaned and the treatment for the ear infections, and then the stuff they gave me to give him after for his ears was like an ear cleanser. That was expensive. That appointment cost almost $400 that I barely had. It was money I was starting to put away to save to move, and I was like, man, shit is expensive. Owning a pet can be expensive, and it sucks because you don't want to have to break your pocket to have a cute little companion and whatever. And but it's like that with anything. Like you own a car, you have a kid, you gotta account for those expenses. So um I would definitely suggest like looking into pet insurance, like 'cause that's what I'm gonna do. I have to go and get an updated appointment for this guy to get his routine visit to get his updated rabies shots and stuff. Because depending on where it is I move, if I get into an apartment, a lot of them require like paperwork to prove that they're updated on their shots and stuff. And when I'm there, I'm gonna talk to the vet about like different pet insurances and like what's more, what's affordable that I can, you know, afford. Other than that, I thought about looking up online, but there's so many different ones that do different things and this and that. So I figured asking the vet would be the best bet. So I don't want to run into those problems again, because if it's like something more expensive than just stuff with his ear, I'm not gonna be able to afford it, especially being on my own. It's like I'm gonna have to decide between paying for my cat's vet bill to make sure he's healthy and buying groceries or paying for my rent, and I don't want to end up homeless. And not like that, I would like I need a place for my pet to live too. You really, really have to account for a lot of these different things when, like I said, owning a pet, having a kid, owning a car. Just do the smart approach. Research stuff about the pet you get, the breed they are, depending on the kind of animal it is. Because even with reptiles and stuff, there's like so many different like variations of, say, I don't know, bearded dragons. Probably, I don't know much about bearded dragons. That's just an example. Probably a really terrible one too, because like I said, I'm not very awake. I'm not a morning person, and I woke up like way earlier than I intended to, and I'm laying there just all like brain dead, tired. So there's probably certain things I left out when talking about the hematoma, but so anything I didn't touch on that subject, just look up some stuff to educate yourself. Your pet starts showing signs of constantly shaking their head and scratching their ear and everything. Look it up. That might be just what they have, and then if you're not sure, then go to the doctor. I don't know how much worse it can get if you don't get it treated. And I don't think they can don't have to worry about getting their ear chopped off or anything, but it might cause further problems. So it's like anything really, just get it checked before it gets worse. If you can avoid it turning into something where you have to have surgery done on their ear or something, I would do that, because it's like that stuff can get expensive. because I don't know, your vet might not give you the same option the one I went to did, where he just cut into the ear, let the stuff leak out, and stitched it up. And they automatically just opt surgery. Like, you always should have options, especially for whatever's affordable for you. But again, if you don't care about your pet being a show pet, then just go for that. It's a little bit more affordable, of course, depending on where you go. So there's a good chance that even if you got a dog, they'll have what they call cauliflower ear, which is why his ear looks like that. I make jokes about it and I call it his crunchy ear because healing like in that position after a while, it kind of hardens it. So, like I think about those like pig ears, you know, the ones that you give dogs to chew and stuff. That crunchy. I mean, it's not like crunchy in that way, but you know what I mean. It hardens it so it doesn't. It's not the same like as the regular ear anymore. And I don't know. I think it's kind of cute though. He kind of makes him look like half cat, half dog. People have said that to like an ex of mine. He's like, it looks like he's got some sass to it, and I was like, yeah, it kind of does. And it's funny too because with him being a bigger breed cat, he's kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of got like a bit of a dog personality, and that's what I read about Maine Coons. They're kind of like the dogs of the cat breeds and stuff. And he will actually play fetch sometimes. I love it. He's a pain in the ass sometimes, but in his own way, he's perfect. And despite the size, where it can be, you know, trying to hold him can be hard because he's heavy and my disability and stuff. It's like I can only him for so long. Which is why I'm really glad that he didn't end up being like the size of full-blooded Maine Coons. They get so damn big. You ever seen like pictures of them where like adults or especially little kids will hold them? It's ridiculous. They look like it's like they're holding a small child. I mean, as it is, mine is like, I don't know, the size of some toddlers. At the time, one of my best friends, and it was like maybe a year or so ago, he told me how tall his nephew was, and in comparison to how long my cat is, I'm like, they're basically the same size. It's weird. But yeah, anyway, enough rambling about random things to do with my cat. But anyway, like I said, I'm not very awake, but if you got questions about what I was talking about, and you know, hit me up and ask. I can do my best to point you in the right direction or educate you on what I know and remember about what we went through with Riley. Because again, that was like 7 years ago. Because he was like 1 and he's gonna be 8. So my memory's a little fuzzy on it, but I'll try my best to recall what we went through. If I have to ask my mom something, she might remember too about it too. I will ask. Otherwise, your best bet is researching online. And while I'm at it, later today, I'm gonna do another video that I'm gonna have scheduled for Friday. Completely different subject in relation to health and gross things like ears and toes. But I'm still learning different things about YouTube and how different things work, so I'm not sure if I can do it properly. I'm gonna try and see how that schedule and videos thing works. But yeah, that one shouldn't be done and up until Friday. And I'll probably record it a little bit later today when I'm a little bit more awake. It's stuff to do with jobs, you know, careers, and what it's like getting involved with somebody who's got a certain career choice, and my input on why I think it's selfish to make them choose between a career and their relationship with you. Honestly, I'm gonna touch both sides of the coin on that because there's like 2 different ways to look at that, and everybody's got their own personal opinion on it. Like I really can't hate on anyone. You know, it's their life. But yeah, it's the next subject I'm gonna touch on is dating people with certain career choices or being married to them, whatever. So stay tuned for that if you're interested, and you know, check that out next. I was aggravating my cat because I was touching my shit on sleep, so he smacked me. Oops, I'm sorry. But yeah, anyway, enjoy this and my rambling. I'm sorry if it was like I was talking in fucking circles and shit. I'm like, I probably should have recorded this when I was a little bit more awake, but I just kind of wanted to get it out what was on my mind. So, yeah.